Destination Mark.
Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here, and yeah, if you don't immediately see where I'm going with this just from the title alone, you might be a bit confused. This is a short follow-up to my Rayman and the Rabbids video. It's not necessarily required to have viewed before watching this one, but if you want some context, I'd highly recommend and appreciate it. So when we last explored this subject, I explained how this method of Rayman coming back into the spotlight, in some upcoming Sparks of Hope DLC, was very reminiscent of how Crash and Spyro returned to their series, being introduced to the kids of today in one franchise before being moved back over into their own. Now let's shift focus over to the Rabbids. It's thanks to Rayman that they even got their series, but I think it's important to talk about how much they've changed, because if you think all these years later they're still the same old annoying screaming Rabbids, you'd only be half right, and you'd be surprised to learn just how much they've evolved. So as we all know, Rayman 4 was going to be epic. The Limbless Wonder was going to face off against crazy evil little bunnies who'd been kicked around and taken advantage of for far too long, and now was the time for their ultimate uprising. Then the game morphed entirely into something else, a minigames game where some elements of the original concept were there, but the tone was way different from what it was originally going to be. And that tone kinda never stopped evolving. But before we dive into that, I want to take a quick second to recommend this informative video by Frame Raider that details Rayman Raving Rabbids' origins and how the Rabbids characters came to be. Now this iteration of the Rabbids was really interesting. When Raving Rabbids was known as Rayman 4, they seemed to be almost alien-like in nature, with a very straightforward goal in mind: literally rise up and overtake the surface world. The idea for a Rabbids invasion was present right from the beginning. In Raving Rabbids proper, the tone takes a much more comedic route, and as a result, the Rabbids changed as well. Going from fuzzy to more simplistic and unique body shapes to unified, the final design for the Rabbids was locked in here, and their demeanor changed entirely, going from stern and threatening to obnoxiously loud and completely nonsensical. This was the appeal of these little guys, and are very likely the inspiration for the minions. And as we all know, as the Rabbids got more popular, they were invading not just Rayman's world, but his popularity as well. And if Rayman's name shrinking more and more with each new Raving Rabbids title wasn't enough to clue you in on whose franchise this was slowly becoming, you can't even play as Rayman in TV Party. And the whole plot of that game is just to annoy the ever-loving shit out of him as the Rabbids. So yeah, understandably the fans lashed out at this, wanting nothing more to do with these little critters, and Ubisoft, wanting to continue to capitalize on dat Rabbid dough, made the decision to split the Rabbids from Rayman, ensuring the two would never cross paths again. Until that Legends teaser. And now this. Before all that, however, all seemed to be back to normal. Rayman went back to his roots and returned to 2D side-scrolling with Origins and Legends, and the Rabbids continued to do their thing, appearing in the first game under their own branding, Rabbids Go Home, and then getting game after game after game in their own series. They even got a TV show on Nickelodeon, and a film had been in the works with no major updates to it in a while, but throughout all of this, the Rabbids never really underwent any more changes. They stayed their loud and proud slapstick selves, but real change wouldn't come until 2017. Unfortunately, the game was leaked ahead of its official release, but when Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle was shown off to the world, everyone thought it was a joke. And then when it was officially shown off at E3, proven to not be a joke, everyone was expecting it to utterly flop. But because this game was half Rabbids, half Nintendo, it seems this might be the key to everything. Nintendo's involvement just might be the reason why this next big change in the Rabbids evolution came to be. Nintendo agreed to let Ubisoft make this game as long as it wasn't a platformer. Mario platformers are to be handled only by Nintendo, so Ubisoft's idea was to slam the worlds of Mario and the Rabbids together and then have them duke it out to save both in an epic turn-based tactics adventure game. Now while the idea helped to calm the storm of everyone thinking the Rabbids were going to take a hit to Mario's franchise the way they did Rayman's, what took us all by surprise was how the Rabbids were handled in this game. They were tweaked slightly to actually be able to play off of the Mario characters. They were the fool to the Mario cast's straight man routine, but both parties still had their share of balancing badass and quirky, and that was really cool to see. Another big change, speaking of balance, was, well, just that, balance. The Rabbids' antics didn't take over the Mario character's spotlight. Both franchises seemed to get equal time to shine. This was already a huge step up from how they were portrayed in Rayman's games, and like I said, that might have been a result of the Ubi team having to get things approved by Nintendo, and the Big N would likely not have signed off on a game where the Rabbids annoy the Mario gang to death. Long story short, Kingdom Battle was just the right move at the right time to show everyone that the Rabbids could be much more than just a scream. This was their time to shine. This would continue onward with the sequel that just came out, Sparks of Hope. I don't have the game as of the time this video has been uploaded, but from the trailers and sneak peeks I've seen, not only has the gameplay and story evolved, but the Rabbids continue to do so as well. With these two games, we're finally starting to see the original concept of uniquely shaped Rabbids come to fruition. And in Sparks of Hope, we're seeing all different kinds of Rabbids, and for the first time, we're hearing them with different voices, and hearing them speak as well. This article about the Rabbids' personality change is a definite must-read. It perfectly explains why it was absolutely necessary. The Rabbids have come a long way. They've invaded Rayman's world, the Wii, the Xbox 360, they've time traveled, taken over an amusement park, and went to China, but by the time they invaded Mario's universe, they've been given a very much needed overhaul. They're still the silly wacky creatures they've always been, but now they're also heroes. They're epic. Some of them have backstories. And the fact that Rayman's making his 3D comeback alongside them once again is just poetic. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, make sure to do the thing to stay up to date on videos and streams, and I'll see you next time. Until then, take care.